owning a home is the American dream, but it's a dream that's out of reach for many Americans. The recession left millions of homeowners in foreclosure and forced millions of young adults to move back in with mom and dad. But if you are ready to make a purchase, there are steps you should take.
Joining us now is financial professional John Amatulli from Amatulli and Associates. Good morning.
Good morning.
So if you're a first-time home buyer, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no, just saying appreciate you being here, yeah.
He's the polite one in the group.
Yeah, okay.
So if you're a first-time home buyer, what are some of the basics?
Well, interesting enough, more than 21 million young Americans are living at home with their parents. And I recommend before you go out to look for a new home that you consider these factors. Decide on how much you can afford. There's no magic number that determines how much of a home we can afford, but you want to take these steps into consideration. Look at the location of the home that you're looking to buy. You want to consider what your income is, the amount of savings that you have, and your debt. I recommend there's several online financial calculators that
That's what I was going to ask you, because if you Google how much home can you afford, you'll get dozens of little calculators like that
Sure.
that all claim to kind of process your income and the interest rates and all that. Is there one in particular that you think works well?
There's several out there. I have one on my website that's very easy to manipulate, AmatulliFinancialServices.com, that can help you with that.
Okay.
And do you need to get pre-approved? Because sometimes they allow you to go out and look, and others say we won't even really show you around until you get pre-approved for a loan.
Well, it's good to talk with a loan mortgage location institution beforehand, but you want to also set up a savings plan as well. Because you don't want to go after something that you can't afford. And what I recommend to folks is that you take a look at what you're paying for your housing currently, and then look at the mortgage that you think you're going to get into for your new home, and set the difference aside. And this will actually create two things for you. It'll help you save money, and it'll help you down the road to determine if you can afford that mortgage or not.
That makes sense. Yeah. Any other factors other than salary? Salary seems to be, the big one. Obviously, you know how much mortgage you can afford, but you mentioned savings. What are they? Obviously, daily expenses, whether or not you have kids, things like that, child
Sure,
care.
a lot of expenses come into play, but the mortgage calculator is the best tool to help you determine what you can afford. But I also recommend that people also look for tax breaks. Yeah. One wonderful thing in becoming a homeowner is the home or mortgage interest you can write off on your tax return, as long as your loan is under $1 million, of course. And it's nice to be able to write that off, so you want to look and discuss it with a CPA or a tax professional.
A lot of people wonder what's like the minimum down payment, acceptable down payment on a home. Do you have a percentage that you think is a fair amount?
Well, FHA, the Federal Housing Administration, currently, surprisingly for some home buyers, they ask for a 3.5% down payment. But if you could put down 20%, it eliminates the home mortgage exemption there, so you could save money on a monthly basis with that as well.
But to get to like a 30-year fix, you probably need to have that 20% down, no, to qualify for one of those?
Not always. It depends on the mortgage institution. You can get down with less, but if you could put down the 20%, like I say, it eliminates
It's not going to hurt you.
It's not going to hurt, and you'll be able to save more with the private home mortgage
What do you think about the Chicago market right now? It seems to be really on the rebound. Still a good time for first-time buyers?
I do feel it's a wonderful time for first-time buyers. Even though the amount of housing has come up, interest rates are still at a fairly close to an all-time low, so it's a wonderful time to purchase a new home.
So give us your insight on these boomerang buyers.
Well, the boomerang buyers, now that some time has passed, they're reconsidering getting a home loan again or purchasing a new home. As I mentioned, the Federal Housing Administration, there is a time limit that you have to wait before you can get into a new loan, and that's approximately 3 years. Most home loan institutions follow that guideline. If someone is out there offering you less of a time frame, you want to take a look at the interest rate, because you may be paying a higher interest rate and more fees.
In terms of fixing your credit, I think that's overwhelming to a lot of people. They think, well, I'm just going to have to wait it out and see. And you're saying there's actually a lot of things they can be doing right now to get erroneous stuff off their credit reports. Or
Sure, because a foreclosure stays on your record for 7 years, although the impact lessens as time goes on. I recommend that you take a look at your credit report, because unfortunately 1 out of 3 credit reports have an error. So you want to check with the credit reporting agency to correct those errors, or if there's a collection agency on your report. Take the time. It's definitely worth your time to take the time to fix those
It was
errors.
literally a letter, correct?
Yes,
Yep.
a letter in writing. I always recommend that you do everything in writing so you have record of it.
3-year arms, 5-year arms, 7-year arms, are those still around? Are they still a good idea?
You know, they are. I'm a big conservative person when it comes to finances, so I like the fixed rate, knowing that if you can get into it and afford it, you won't have to worry about your payment increasing in the future.
Door
I had a
is
7-year arm, my last thing I got out of there, I think just in time.
Yeah.
So.
before the door hit him in the backside, yeah.
Right, really appreciate your time this morning.
Thank you very much.
For more
Thank you.
information, check out AmatulliFinancialServices.com. You can also call the number there, 866-723-6669. Thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
Excellent information.